Intensity is the word for Vishakha. Whether it is learning, whether it is love, whether it is sex, whether it is work, or whether it is meditation, the person having Rahu in Vishakha, or Moon in Vishakha, or Sun in Vishakha is very intense in whatsoever he or she does. And this is exactly what the Master wants. Intensity. What is intensity? How would you define intensity? When all your desires, when all your passions become one flame, it is intensity. When there is only one desire left inside you, and your total being supports that one, it is intensity. The general public talks a lot about God and seeking God. But out of millions of people, only one becomes Buddha, only one becomes Mahavira, only one becomes Kabir. Why only a few in millions attain God realization? Why only a few could experience the beyond, the unseen? Because not everybody has the intensity that these fellows had. Always remember, you will find millions of people coming and asking the most foolish question: how to experience God? And these people will create and add many philosophical theories on how to experience God. Be aware of such people, my fellows, because philosophy and theories have absolutely nothing to do with God. God is not a philosophical theory, it is an experience of intense passion. When the guest is being searched for, it is the intensity of the longing for the guest that does all the work. Look at me and you will see a slave of that intensity, says Kabir. Kabir is simply interested in your intensity. Who can be intense? Only that man, only that woman who has dropped the head, the mind. Many people would come to Kabir and say, I want to become your disciple. Kabir would smile and say, if you want to become my disciple, then first you have to cut off your head. Only then can you become my disciple. The head, that is the logic, cannot let you jump. And God can be experienced only when you are willing to take the risk, when you are willing to jump into the unknown. People say think twice before you jump. But the Master says, jump first and then think as much as you want. Only a man of heart, only a woman of heart can jump. And only such a man, such a woman can fall in love. And if you can fall in love, then someday you can also fall in love with God. That is how Mirabai fell in love with Krishna, Lord Krishna. How to express the intense devotion of Mirabai? How to express the intense devotion of Arjuna? How to express the intense devotion of John the Baptist? That is why I say that the greatest lovers on this planet have been intense, so much so that they have forgotten themselves totally. They have become the greatest lovers that the world had ever known. Vishakha Nakshatra has such intensity. That is why Sri Guru loves Vishakha. That is why in astrology, planet Jupiter rules over Vishakha. Vishakha is the abode of Jupiter, the abode of Buddha. The intensity of Vishakha, if gets the support of Ketu, that is detachment, then a great yogi is born. A great soul is born who shows the path, the way to his followers, to those who are thirsty for God, for the ultimate truth. Remember, Guru will never give you the truth. Instead, he will point you towards the truth, which you have to attain by taking the necessary efforts. A teacher is never a giver of truth. He is a guide, a pointer to the truth that each student must find for himself. You will be able to experience the truth only when you have intensity within you. Vishakha is the source of great intensity, and one who has a Rahu in Vishakha is indeed a man, a woman of great intensity. They can go to any extent when it comes to love, and only one who can risk everything for love can also risk everything for God. Because God is love and love is real. Rahu in Vishakha person is a person of great intensity. If he loves a woman, he is prepared to sacrifice for her. True love is selfless. It is prepared to sacrifice, says Sadhu Vaswani. Always remember, ego is happy when it is able to take something, whereas love is happy when it is able to give something. True love is sacrifice. It is in giving, not in getting, in losing, not in gaining. Vishakha has a certain depth of understanding, and it is this depth of understanding that enables the native to sacrifice for the larger interest of his love. A man having Rahu in Vishakha is perfectly aware that love blossoms when you have a certain depth of understanding. Buddha says to understand everything is to forgive everything. True love is born from understanding. Fellows born on Vishakha Nakshatra are truly born lovers, and Rahu in Vishakha simply exaggerates this tendency of falling in love multiple times in life. And so, when you have the tendency of falling in love, then it is but natural that you may end up having multiple love affairs. And so, Rahu in Vishakha fellows simply end up having multiple love affairs in life. Sex is very important for a native having Rahu in Libra sign. Whether it is in Swati Nakshatra or whether it is in Vishakha Nakshatra, whenever Rahu is in Libra, sex becomes very important. For Rahu in Vishakha Nakshatra native, sex after marriage is more desirable. Basically, having sex by maintaining certain ethics and morality is what natives having Rahu in Vishakha prefers, considering the strong influence of Jupiter on Vishakha Nakshatra. Safe sex is what these natives prefer. Rahu in Swati and Rahu in Vishakha both love sex. Sex is their favorite subject. However, the only difference is that Rahu in Swati will just rush to take you in the bed, while Rahu in Vishakha will first follow all precautions, ethics, and then will love to sleep with you in the bed. Since Vishakha is intense by nature, even sex is too intense, as if the whole bed is on fire. Early ejaculation is a major sexual problem because that leaves your bed partner sexually unsatisfied. When Rahu is in Vishakha, Jupiter should be strong, else sexual problems such as early ejaculation, less sexual energy, erection issues arise. Always remember, when there is love, there is no sexuality. And when there is no love but only lust, then there is only sex, and that is ugly. Love is born in sexuality, but sexuality is not love. The lotus is born in the mud, but the lotus is not just mud. And if mud remains mud, of course, there are bound to be tears on the cheeks. Remember, you can make love to a woman without any love in your heart. Then it is pure sexuality, animality. It is prostitution. You can make love to a woman with no idea of sex. Then love is just a pure communication of two energies, a sharing, a dance, a celebration. No idea of sex in the mind, and you can make love to a woman, and the woman can make love to you, not thinking of sex at all. The whole point is where your mind is. If you are thinking of sex, if your mind is obsessed with sex, you simply want to use the woman. The woman simply wants to use you. It is ugly. It has no aesthetics in it, no poetry in it. There is nothing of the beyond in it. It is very muddy. It is necessary to remember that love is creative, sex is destructive. When you have absolutely no love, but you are just hungry for sex, then any human body will do. And that is how you fall from grace. That is how you screw up your life, by falling for your sexual desires. Love is beautiful. Sexuality is ugly. Sexuality means you think about woman and woman and woman all the time, especially at night when you go to bed. Always remember, there is a lot of difference between love and sex. Sometimes you start thinking that your sexuality is your love, then you are deceived. Sexuality can play the game of love, but it is a counterfeit game. The master is not against sex, but the master certainly is against sexuality. And the difference is that sex is a natural thing and sexuality is a mind thing. To love a woman is natural. To love a man is natural. To reproduce children is natural. Nothing wrong in it. But to think about woman, to carry erotic pictures, to fall asleep every night thinking about woman and woman and woman, that is sexuality. There was one priest. He lived in Toronto, Canada. He was a very faithful person. He would recite the holy scriptures. He would follow all the religious dogmas. But he had a major problem, and that was his intense sexual hunger. And so, he would often go to certain localities where women were available and then have sex with them. Now, because of this, all his positive vibrations that he earned by reciting the holy scriptures and spiritual practices was spoiled by the vibrations of those women with whom he would indulge in sexual intercourse. And those women were prostitutes. So you see, this is how sexuality or intense sexual desires can actually spoil your spiritual growth if it is not aligned properly. Had this man married a woman, he would have saved the utter destruction of his spiritual growth. Or, had this man entered into a serious relationship, he would have saved himself from the utter negative vibrations of prostitutes with whom he was sleeping. Ironically, this priest was aware of his foolishness, but sexuality had engulfed him so much that he just had given up to his sexual desires, to his sexuality. Whenever he would get an intense sexual desire, he would just pick women to satisfy the wants of his sexuality. When you are in sexuality, you don't bother much to whom you are making love. Anybody will do. You just need a woman or a man. Anybody will do. You just need the other's body. In love, anybody won't do. Anybody's body won't do. You need a person who is in deep love with you, who has a certain affinity and harmony with you, in whose presence your heart starts singing, a deep bell starts ringing, in whose presence you feel a blessing. Then only is it possible for you to make love to the other person. To make love is possible only if the inner meeting has happened. Otherwise, it is simply impossible to think, even to imagine, that you are making love to a person you don't love. Always remember, sexual intercourse directly impacts your planets and stars. Because when you have sexual intercourse, amalgamation of two bodies takes place. It is like the amalgamation of two galaxies of planets. And that is why marriage matchmaking has so much importance, because marriage gives you the legal visa to have sexual intercourse. And if your partner is not compatible, meaning the vibrations mismatch with your vibrations, then your downfall begins immediately after you enter into sexual union. When Rahu is in Libra, irrespective of which nakshatra Rahu is in, great interest in sexuality is always there. Sex is always lurking in the mind. If Venus is afflicted, then one is driven towards sexuality, and eventually sexuality and intense sexual desires becomes the cause of downfall. However, if Venus is well placed, and in case of Rahu in Vishakha, Jupiter is also well placed and Yogakarak, then the native having Rahu in Vishakha enjoys sexual pleasures to the fullest. Sex is not bad. In fact, it is very wrong to imagine that if you are on the spiritual path, then sex should be dropped. That is idiotic. Sex should not be dropped, but sex should arise out of love, deep love, intense love. Love can give a new soul to sex. Then the sex is transfigured. It becomes beautiful. It is no longer sex. It has something of the beyond in it. It has become a bridge. Rahu in Libra is indeed a great placement to understand, experience, and eventually overcome sexuality by emphasizing on love, realizing the significance and beauty of love. Always remember, sex never unites you with your partner. Never. People think that by having intense sex with your partner, you become one with your partner. But that is a myth. Sex never unites you with your partner. It never can. When you make sex to a person, woman or man, you think it unites you. For a moment it gives you the illusion of unity, and then a vast division suddenly comes in. That's why after every sex act, a frustration, a depression sets in. One feels that one is so far away from the beloved. Sex divides, and when love goes deeper and deeper and unites more and more, there is no need for sex. Your inner energies can meet without sex, and you live in such a unity. Rahu in Libra sign, irrespective of whether Rahu is in Swati or Vishakha, should realize this fact that sex cannot unite you with your wife or girlfriend. Sex cannot create a lasting relationship. However, love can create a lasting relationship, a permanent bonding between you and your partner. So the very first message to all individuals having Rahu in Vishakha is focus on love and not on sex. The very word sex comes from a root which means division. Love unites, sex divides. Sex is the root cause of division. Rahu in Vishakha is excellent for those who are born on Taurus ascendant, Gemini ascendant, Virgo ascendant, Libra ascendant, Sagittarius ascendant, and Aquarius ascendant. However, it should be noted that Jupiter should be well placed in the chart, else even for these ascendants, Rahu in Vishakha can give negative results instead of positive. Jupiter placed in 1st, 5th, 9th, 10th, 11th and 12th house is highly beneficial. And then Rahu in Vishakha works well for the native. The native attains much wealth and pleasures of human life. Great teachers, gurus and healers are born on Vishakha Nakshatra. Sita, the consort of Lord Rama, was also born on Vishakha Nakshatra. Only a man, only a woman who has a certain intensity within can experience the beyond, the godly, the divine. And so it is natural that whenever you are born on Vishakha Nakshatra, whenever you have Rahu in Vishakha, you are bound to experience the divine, the godly at some stage of your life, provided you are an evolved soul and you are taking the necessary efforts in realizing yourself. 8th house is the house of intensity. 8th house is where the real transformation happens. 8th house is where you attain a certain depth of understanding. And so Vishakha becomes a highly intense, transformative nakshatra having a certain depth of understanding. 8th house is ruled by Scorpio in the Kala Purush Kundali. And Vishakha Nakshatra spans from Libra sign, that is from 20 degree Libra to 3.20 degree in Scorpio. Vishakha starts at 20 degree in Libra, however, it ends only after occupying the first 3 degrees of Scorpio sign. And that gives Vishakha the intelligence of Libra as well as the depth of Scorpio sign. Vishakha therefore provides the great potential of higher studies, research activities, and interest in occultism. And if the soul is evolved, then one can also attain spiritual enlightenment. Depending on the evolution and level of consciousness, either the native goes for the dark occult world of spirits and ghosts and black magic, or if the soul is evolved, then you will find someone as great as a spiritual being as the Buddha. Remember, occultism and spiritualism are two separate paths. The black magician walks on the path of occultism, which is way lower than the path on which the Buddha walks. Rahu in Vishakha is like a powerful 4000cc engine. However, it is necessary to observe whether the driver has the potential to drive this powerful engine, that is Rahu in Vishakha, efficiently and attain the destination of life. Who is the driver? Who is this driver? Jupiter, Guru, the Master. Who is the Guru? The Self is the Guru, says Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. Who is the Self? The Self is your consciousness. And so it is only when you raise the level of your consciousness that this Rahu in Vishakha can actually help you attain the mission, the goal of your life. There is a possibility that many souls come in human form with higher level of consciousness. To such souls, Rahu in Vishakha becomes a wonderful medium to progress further in their spiritual growth. Always remember, millions of people are born each minute with Rahu in Vishakha. So certain aspects always differ based on individual charts. As mentioned before, nobody is inferior and nobody is superior, but nobody is equal either. Every person is unique, and astrology is just one of the many sciences to study the uniqueness of each individual on this planet. Emotional intelligence is one of the striking quality of Rahu in Vishakha Nakshatra, and there is a reason for this. Vishakha dwells in airy sign Libra, as well as it also dwells in the watery sign Scorpio. Watery signs bring emotions to forefront. Airy signs brings intelligence to forefront. Combine both and you get emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence can be the game changer to high performance and personal leadership. Vishakha thus gets the best of both signs. Libra brings balance, intelligence, and Scorpio brings intensity and emotions to forefront. Such a native is good at expressing himself. Relationships means a lot to natives having Rahu in Vishakha Nakshatra. And generally, if Jupiter and Venus both are well placed, then these fellows do well in maintaining their relationships by being emotionally intelligent. To be emotionally intelligent means to understand the powerful emotions of your and of others and to handle it properly. Vishakha brings a certain art. The native has attained expertise in certain art, be it dancing, cooking, singing, or playing music. Reminds me of Sri Ravi Shankar, the great sitarist, lyricist, dancer, and international ambassador of classical Indian music. Ravi Shankar had Rahu in Vishakha Nakshatra. Rahu was placed in the 8th house with Mars in his horoscope. Rahu is in Libra, that is in Vishakha, and Venus is exalted in Pisces and placed in the ascendant. On top of that, his Jupiter is also exalted and placed in Cancer in the 5th house. So, as mentioned in the very beginning of this sharing, when Jupiter and Venus both are powerful, then this Rahu in Vishakha is empowered and gets all the necessary vitamins to perform well for the individual's growth. 8th house is directly connected with fame, and so Pandit Ravi Shankar becomes one of the most famous sitarists that the world had ever known. The music that I have learned and want to give is like worshipping God. It's absolutely like a prayer, says Pandit Ravi Shankar. In December 1974, Pandit Ravi Shankar was invited to perform in the White House. Rahu in 8th house, especially in Vishakha Nakshatra, can bring abundance of wealth and fame when Jupiter and Venus are well placed and supportive in the birth chart. Vishakha Rahu has immense power to produce high priests, religious beings, since Vishakha brings the direct connection of Jupiter, Sri Guru. Reminds me of Pope St. John Paul II. St. John Paul II was the Pope of the Catholic Church and of Vatican City for 26 years and 6 months. He had a Rahu in Vishakha Nakshatra. As mentioned in the very beginning of this sharing, Rahu simply exaggerates the power of Jupiter. However, Jupiter should be well placed in the birth chart. Vishakha can either make you a staunch religious person or an intense spiritual being. St. John Paul was the religious head of the Catholic Church, which is revered by millions of Catholic Christians around the globe. St. John Paul had a Rahu in Vishakha placed in his ascendant. A planet or Rahu or Ketu in ascendant is always more powerful. They can either make or break your life. Always remember this. Overall, it is necessary to remember that Rahu is not a planet. It is simply your desire. The quality of your desire defines the future course of your destiny. The quality of your desire is evaluated based on the Lord of the sign and the Nakshatra Lord in which Rahu is placed. As mentioned several times in many of my sharings and podcasts, astrology is not one-dimensional because life is not one-dimensional. Life is multi-dimensional. Life is here and now, multi-dimensional, spreading in every direction. If you want to move into life, throw your specs, throw your concepts, your systems, thoughts and minds. Be born into life here and now. This multi-dimensional life spreading everywhere. Then you become the center, and the whole life belongs to you, not only a particular road. Then the whole life belongs to you. Everything that is in it, all belongs to you. This is the realization that I am not a drop in the ocean, I am a whole ocean in a drop. In our scriptures, the ancient seers therefore mention Aham Brahmasmi, meaning I am the universe. All that is on the outside, the stars, the planets, they are within me. And this is so deep. Only an evolved soul could relate, could resonate with this. Sing, dance, celebrate life, and live life intensely. That is the message of Rahu in Vishakha Nakshatra. Kabir says, God is not attained by your theories and techniques. God is attained only when you have intense thirst for attaining Him, the beyond, the divine. Ordinary people go on moving in circle. They think they are moving, but they are continuing to move in circle. Just the way a bull continues to move in circle when tied for extracting oil from seed crops. Growth means not moving in circle. Growth means something new is happening every day, every moment. And when does that happen? When you start living intensely. And that is exactly what Vishakha is all about, my fellows. Rahu in Vishakha simply exaggerates this intensity. Now, depending on the quality of your horoscope, quality of Jupiter and quality of Venus in your birth chart, this exaggerated intensity will trigger. It can either make you a dawn or a saint. There is no middle ground for Vishakha. You are either a Hitler or a Buddha. Extreme is the very nature of Vishakha. You are either on the road or on the top of the world. Vishakha knows no mediocrity. Of all the 27 nakshatras, Vishakha is my favorite. I love the intensity, the depth, the madness that this nakshatra brings. Remember, a certain madness is needed to experience the beyond, the marvelous, the truth. Imperfection is beauty, madness is genius. A person needs a little madness, else he would never dare to be free. This madness comes from Vishakha, the intense star, the magical star, the genius star. I love you, Vishakha, and I humbly prostrate before you, the messenger of the divine, the godly nakshatra, Vishakha. One who kneels before the godly can stand before anyone. The very action of prostration brings great miraculous power, because when you prostrate before God, you surrender, and one who surrenders to God is always taken care of. But who wants to listen? And so the miseries continue. But those who have listened, those who have surrendered at the feet of the Master, the Guru, the Godly, those men and women will always emerge victorious, because victory comes not by your intellect and logic. Victory comes when your heart beats in the name of God, when you start chanting the holy name of God. What cannot be achieved through the performance of Vedic rituals can be easily achieved through the chanting of the Lord's holy name, says Srila Prabhupada of ISKCON. And so start chanting the name of the Lord, my fellows. The more you chant with devotion and love, the more you will be able to overcome the monkey mind. Everything is science, but who wants to listen. My sharing is for my fellow followers and readers. The rest can ignore. After all, truth is not for all, because to realize the truth, you need to have a certain depth of understanding. Only then the truths can be given. Remember to meditate every day. The sign of your spiritual progress is based on how less you entertain your thoughts and how more you spend time in silence, blissful silence. The degree of freedom from unwanted thoughts and the degree of concentration on a single thought are the measures to gauge spiritual progress, says Bhagwan Raman Maharshi. This concentrating on a single thought that the Bhagwan mentions is the name of the Lord, the holy mantra. When you chant, concentrate on the holy mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Nobody can help you attain God except for your intense thirst for the Lord. One day it happened. The whole village was waiting for the arrival of Buddha, and after a while, Buddha arrived. The villagers thought that now the master will speak, but Buddha remained silent. They all wondered why the master is silent, for whom he is waiting. And when someone asked, Buddha said, I am waiting for that little girl whom I met while I was on the way. And she said to me, I am also coming to hear your discourse. I will start my discourse when she arrives, says Buddha. That is how the heart of a true master is. Once promised, he remains true to his word. After a while, the little girl arrived, and she said, You kept your promise. I am so touched. Please begin with your discourse. I can't wait to hear your divine voice, your insightful words. And Buddha started with his discourse. And such was his voice, such were his words, that the whole village was engrossed for 60 minutes. They all were moved. After the discourse, they all bowed before Buddha, expressed their gratitude, and went back to their home. But the little girl remained seated. She said, Master, I cannot leave you. I want to be with you. Buddha said, I am always with you. I am always with those who are thirsty for my love, my words, my sharing. You don't have to come with me. I am with you. The girl still wasn't ready. Then Buddha raised her and said, I am getting old and the road is long. You may not see me in physical form, but I will be always around you. I came to this village for you. Your prayers, your longing made me come here. Don't worry. You will be my messenger. You will grow and you will spread the light of consciousness to the farthest shores of this planet. With these words, the benevolent master left. Buddha left. And the girl was in tears, but those tears were tears of joy. She realized that she has been blessed with the gift of consciousness. That night, Ananda asked Buddha, How do you decide your journeys? And Buddha said, I never plan my journeys. My legs simply start moving towards those who are thirsty for my words, my love, my sharings. And this is how the compassionate divine master is. Neither your status nor your wealth will move him towards you. If at all anything that will make him move towards you, then that is your love, your unwavering faith, your intensity. Vishakha is the second name for intensity. One who is blessed by Vishakha always is intense in whatsoever he does. And eventually, it is this intensity that leads him towards the beyond, the divine, the godly. It is only through intensity that one arrives. When all your desires, when all your passions become one flame, it is intensity. Blessed are those who are born on Vishakha, for they have the intensity within. The seed exists. Whether it will sprout and grow into a beautiful tree is based on what choices you make in life, how consciously you live your life. It is your choice. Each moment the choice has to be faced. Each moment you are on the crossroads. The road you choose becomes instrumental in shaping your destiny, in shaping the seed within you. And you will make the right choice only when you raise the level of your awareness, your consciousness. So it all comes down to that one miraculous golden word, consciousness. Someday you all should read my first published book, Gift of Consciousness. When cosmic consciousness comes into the realm of matter, into each of the atoms that make up the planet and island universes, and the different forms of plant, animal, and human life, that consciousness is called Christ consciousness, says Paramahamsa Yogananda. The West calls it Christ consciousness, the East calls it Krishna consciousness, the Far East calls it Buddha consciousness. The name changes based on the faith. What remains constant is consciousness, God consciousness. Vishakha, being connected with Sri Guru, has the potential to help you raise the level of your consciousness. All you need is the willingness to dive within, the willingness, the thirst, and the intensity to experience God. Focus on raising the level of your consciousness. Meditate every day. Jai Sri Ganesha. Jai Guru.